Hey guys, welcome back to the Walk to Christ. Hope you guys are all blessed. My name is Joe Rodriguez, and today we're going to be talking about something very controversial, but I believe we need to bring it up, and that is, should a Christian celebrate Christmas? Now, let's start. Now, the first thing I want to mention is 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 23. And look what it says. He says, all things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but all things don't edify or edify not. Today I'm not going to talk about Christmas, the origins of Christmas, but should a Christian celebrate Christmas? And what I want to give the context of this Bible verse is that there was two sides in the early church. That one side believed that it was a sin to eat meat sacrificed to idols, and on this side they thought that it wasn't a sin, that it was okay to eat meat sacrificed to idols. And Paul is trying to make a point here. He's saying, look, all things are lawful, but not all things help you. And that's what he's trying to say. You can also check in 1 Corinthians 8, also chapter 10, and Romans 14 on this context. And that's what we're going to be discussing. What I believe Christmas is about is all things are lawful, but does it help you? Does what you're doing help you spiritually? Also, another Romans chapter 14, verse 1 through 6. But before I say that, I believe Christmas is a conscience thing. This is a gray area. There's not a Bible verse that completely says Christmas is a sin. There's Bible verses that say a command that says you shall not lie, but Christmas, there's not a direct quote to it, and that's why we must go off our conscience. Romans chapter 14, verse 1 through 6. Look what it says. It says, him that is weak in the faith receive ye, but not to doubtful disputations. For one believes that he may eat all things, another who is weak eateth herbs. Let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not, and let not him which eats not judge him that eats. For God has received them. Who art thou that judgest another man's servant? To his own master he standeth or falleth. Yea, he shall be holden up, for God is able to make him stand. One man esteems one day above another, another esteems every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. He that regardeth the day regardeth unto the Lord, and he that regardeth not the day to the Lord, he doth not regard it. He that eats, eats to the Lord, for he gives God thanks. And he that eats not to the Lord, he eats not and gives God thanks. So, right here, Paul is saying, and I'm going to bring it, the context right now, I'm going to apply it to Christmas. Paul right here is saying, look, if you think that Christmas is a sin, don't celebrate it. But don't condemn somebody else who celebrates it a Christ-centered way. If your conscience says don't celebrate it, don't celebrate it. If your conscience says it's okay, go ahead. This is what I believe Christmas is. If your conscience says it's okay, go right ahead. If not, don't do it. But don't judge somebody else of your conscience. That is what I believe Christmas is, the topic is. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what most people say, why they don't celebrate Christmas. And one of the most, I I guess you could say the most popular one is because Christmas is pagan, therefore you can't celebrate it. But I got news for you, brothers and sisters. Everything is pagan. just to tell you that everything we do, what we wear is pagan. We live in a pagan world, so you can't say because Christmas is pagan, therefore you can't celebrate it. Because if you look and research deep enough, everything has paganism. Everything has pagan roots, we could say. And I'm gonna give you some examples, like the tie. In this society, a tie is used when you go to church or when you go somewhere important. It's something, a sign of respect. It's decency. You wear a suit and a tie. But if you look at this research, if you look up, you know the tie was actually a pagan phallic symbol. It used to be a symbol, a phallic symbol. Now I'm gonna let you do your own research what phallic means, but go ahead and search up what phallic means. It's basically a sexual. It was a sexual sign, we could say, and I'm gonna put those quotes on there. And it was a symbol, a phallical symbol, but it's not known as a phallic symbol today. It's known as something you should put on to show respect or decency. But it's not used as a phallic symbol. The same thing with Christmas. The same thing with Christmas. Or if you and with your logic, because something is pagan, therefore I can't celebrate it or I can't use it. Well, you can't use calendars neither, brothers and sisters, because calendars are pagan. They were made by astrology and mythology, and the Bible clearly condemns astrology and mythology. So, according to your logic, you would have to make your own calendar. And I'm doing this respectfully. I want to, I guess you could say, admonish you lovingly. If you think that Christmas is a sin, don't celebrate it, but don't judge somebody else that is celebrating it Christ-centeredly. Christ-centeredly. Or also, I would ask you, most people that don't celebrate Christmas celebrate Thanksgiving, even their birthday. And obviously Thanksgiving, the history is if you guys probably have heard the history of Thanksgiving, about the Pilgrims and the Native Americans, how they had a feast and they gave thanks to God. The Pilgrims gave thanks to God for this new, we could say, new world with freedom of speech and freedom of religion. But if you look deep enough, even Thanksgiving has pagan roots. Although there was no mixture, no affiliation with the Pilgrims giving thanks, because they were devout Christians. They were Puritans. You can do your own research about that. But basically with your logic, this is what we're saying. Because somebody gave thanks to Satan, therefore I can't give thanks to God anymore, or I can't give thanks to anybody. That according to I'm just using your own logic, and I believe that's a fallacy, and I really believe you don't believe that, you're yourself. And also I want to bring a point. Pagan things can be used for the honor and glory of God, such as a phone. We all use a phone. We all know it's pagan, but it's a phone. We use it for the honor and glory of God, as well as social media and the internet. The whole internet is pagan, but yet we still use it, and some of us use it for the honor and glory of God, such as YouTube. I use it for the honor and glory of God to send the message of the gospel. And there's nothing wrong with that. There are certain things, pagan things, that we can use that are actually neutral, that they just have pagan roots, but they're neutral. They're neutral. And that's what I believe Christmas is. Another thing I want to mention is something called genetic fallacy, and this is what it says. I believe that it applies to Christmas. It says, genetic fallacy is a fallacy of irrelevance that is based solely on someone's or something's history, origin, or source rather than its current meaning or context. Basically, I'm going to give you some examples. Let's say the word gay. The word gay today in this society, when you say I'm gay, it means you're homosexual. But back then, the word gay actually meant cheerful or happy. But obviously, if you say I'm gay today, people aren't going to think, oh, he's happy. They're going to think, oh, this guy's gay, he's a homosexual. And that's what I think about genetic fallacy. Sort of an example of genetic fallacy. I want to put this photo on there. that it says, there's an example, the guy says the media claims that the senator was taking bribes, and the other guy says, but we all know about the media's credibility, right? This is a genetic fallacy. It says discredits the source or origin of an argument instead of the argument itself. And I believe that saying Christmas is pagan and that's why I can't celebrate it is a genetic fallacy, because that means nothing good can come out of Christmas, although something good can come out of Christmas. Also, another thing, the cross, the cross, if you look at it today, people use it as a sign of Christianity. But obviously, it was not all, the cross was not always a symbol of Christianity. It was a symbol of the torture, of the death, and the crucifixion itself, the torture, the method of torture, the crucifixion. It was a horrendous thing to to see. But now the cross is a symbol of Christianity and Christ's crucifixion. Another thing, I guess, not genetic fallacy, but just showing you that the things that had some things mean different now than what they used to mean, brothers and sisters. Also, Merry Christmas. If you look at it, Merry Christmas, it's actually the combination of Christ Mass. And this was an annual tradition that dates back to the 4th century, when millions of people gathered together for a large mass honoring the birth of Jesus Christ, not the birth of any other god or a pagan thing. It was to commemorate the birth of Christ. And I know many people might say, "Oh, that's that the disciples didn't celebrate Christ's birthday, therefore we shouldn't celebrate it." But I think that's a fallacy, because many of the things that we do today, the disciples don't do. And I don't believe there's anything wrong with celebrating Christ's birthday, and there's nothing in the Bible that condemns that. And if I want to say thank you to God for my birthday, let's say He gives me another year of life, I'm thanking God. But if you look clear, even birthdays are pagan, but you probably still celebrate them. I thank God on my birthday. I give thanks to God for another day of life, another year of life. And there's nothing wrong with that, as well as giving thanks or commemorating the birth of Christ. Just because the disciples didn't do it doesn't mean that we can't do it, because many of the things that we do today, the disciples don't do. Yet it's not a sin. Also, another thing, if you ask people in our society what Christmas is about or what it's supposed to be, although this isn't true, they say, "Oh, it's Jesus' birthday," and it's not true that Jesus was born on that day. We know that, but in this society, Christmas has been shown as Jesus' birthday, and many people do it to honor His birthday, not to honor another god. Also, if I just want to tell you this, if you condemn Christmas, you condemn the whole holiday, and I'm gonna use your own logic. With your logic, I want to smile. I want to put a smile. I'm sorry. It's because I just want to smile, but when I talk like this, I get like, oh. So I'm trying to smile, but don't think that I'm angry or anything. I'm just when I talk like this, I sometimes don't smile. But with your logic, brothers and sisters, if I give a present, if I gave gifts to homeless people or to orphans on Christmas, according to your logic, I just sin because I'm celebrating Christmas. And many people say, "Oh, because we shouldn't celebrate Christmas, but we should use it as an opportunity to show Christ." And I believe that's so true. Amen. But the thing is, that's already, in a sense, celebrating Christmas, brothers and sisters. See, the category, this is what I believe. Don't celebrate Christmas, but rather celebrate Christ's birthday. Because Christmas, people say, "Oh yeah, it's because we honor Jesus," but most of the time pagans do it to commit gluttony and to drink wine and all that. But brothers and sisters, we should celebrate Christ's birthday, because Christ's birthday is categorized as thanking God for coming down to this earth to die for us. That's just something I want to say. Don't celebrate Christmas, rather celebrate Christ's birthday. And I believe that's very true. But I believe that every day Every day we should reflect Christ. Christmas is not an exception, and there is nothing wrong with giving thanks to God on that day. Now, I remember last year I found out that Christmas was pagan, and I was like super against it. I was like, nope. I was like, pagan, you know. I was like, get away from me, you pagan, if you give me a present and stuff. But I prayed a lot. I looked at some books, read the Bible, and I came to the conclusion that there was nothing wrong with celebrating Christ's birthday. And you know what? I ended up giving everybody a gift. You know what the gift was? It was an Ellen G. White book. Now, she is a great author. I recommend you can check one of her books. She's one of the best-selling authors and the most translated woman author. So I believe I go ahead and check her out. Ellen G. White, that's her name. But now I'm going to talk about the Christmas tree. Now, many people use Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1 through 5 to condemn a Christmas tree. But let's look at, if you read Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1 through 5, without its context, of course you're going to believe it's talking about a Christmas tree. Look what it says. It says, hear ye the word which the Lord speaks unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cuts a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good. Now, if you just read it like that, of course you're going to say, well, that's talking about a Christmas tree, and it's pagan. But let's look at the context. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 19 to 20. Look what it says. The workman melts a graven image, and the goldsmith spreads it over with gold and cast silver chains. He that is so impoverished that he has no oblation chooses a tree that will not rot. He seeks unto him a cunning workman to prepare a graven image that shall not be moved. So right here, we can see the context. They would cut down trees. So a workman would carve the tree into a graven image. So they wouldn't worship the tree itself. They would worship it, and they would carve it into a god. Also, another thing I want to mention is that the origin of the Christmas tree is not... there's many stories to the origin of the Christmas tree. We're going to see that right now. You can see that even the Christmas trees, it says that it began as a pagan tradition. And what the pagans used to do was they brought branches of evergreen fir into their houses to bring color and light into their dull winter. So that's not even bad itself. It was winter, and they would want to bring a tree to make it a little bit happier. There's nothing wrong with that. Also, another thing is that Germany is credited with the start of the Christmas tree tradition, that even devout Christians brought decorated trees into their homes, even devout Christians. And there's actually a story as well that Martin Luther was walking outside at night, and he looked up, and he saw some stars that were trespassing a tree, and he thought it was so beautiful, and that it reminded him of how Christ came down to earth to die for us and be born. And so he thought it was so beautiful, so he cut the tree, took it home, and put it in his house, as well as decorated it. You can also see, I'm going to show an image right now, see? So there's origins, there's so many different origins of how the Christmas tree came to be. And I believe there's nothing wrong with what Martin Luther did and put a Christmas tree in there. Maybe it was a pagan, maybe that was a pagan tradition, but he decorated it not even knowing it was a pagan tradition. He didn't do it to honor another God. He did it to honor God, and because it reminded him of Christ, not really because it was a bad thing to do. So, brothers and sisters, again, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to conclude now that, again, I'm going to say it again. Every day we should uplift Christ. Christmas is not an exception. My appeal to you would, on Christmas, go in and participate in a food drive, or give presents to homeless, or give an offering to the Lord at your church. We should reflect Christ. It is not, even Halloween, brothers and sisters, in Halloween we could reflect Christ. You know how? By giving kids literature. Instead of candies, give them literature. Amen to that. See, every day we should use it as an advantage to reflect Christ. Christmas is not any different. And many people say, I agree with those people that say we shouldn't celebrate Christmas. but rather use it as a way to honor, to honor God. We should to I guess you could say a hug to reflect Christ. But the thing is, that's if you give a present or do any of that on Christmas, that's already kind of celebrating it. So I would say don't celebrate Christmas, but celebrate Christ's birthday. So there you go, brothers and sisters. That's it for me. Also, another thing. Um, Remember, celebrate Christ's birthday. Do it humbly, for the honor and glory of Him. Don't do it like the pagans. And if you have anything wrong with if I have a fallacy, if you don't agree with me, comment down below, respectfully, of course. I want to know your thoughts. Just comment down below your thoughts. If you think it's you agree with me, you don't agree with me, you think it's a sin, you think it's not. I'm actually curious. Please comment down below, like, share, and also subscribe, brothers and sisters, to this channel, because there's going to be more media coming out. So thank you, brothers and sisters, for watching. God bless. Merry Christmas to those who are going to celebrate it. And if not, well, God bless you either way. I don't care if you condemn me. This is what the Lord has revealed to me, and maybe you can change my mind. Go if you want. If you want to change my mind, I mean, if I find out that it's a sin to celebrate Christmas, then I'll stop celebrating it. But then again, what the Lord has revealed to me is it's not bad unless I'm doing it for His honor and glory. So thank you for being with us, and God bless you guys. See you on the next one.